caring for children has always been one of the deepest and most satisfying things a human being can do. The world is changing, and there's never been a more important time for childcare business owners to start marketing their businesses. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about everything that can help you grow your childcare business and stand out in a crowded market. Welcome to the Childcare Business Growth Podcast. Hey everyone, so it's Nick here from Childcare Business Growth. So I'm super excited to join you guys for another podcast episode today with Khayam from Doorbell. Now, let me just paint a bit of a backstory here to fill you guys in on why I wanted Khayam to come on and talk about this particular product with us. So one of the biggest things, as we all know, that we've all gone through these challenging times over, that big C word that everyone's been talking about. One of the big challenges we had as a childcare business or childcare industry as a whole is managing parents turning up to collect their children, okay? So obviously parents, most of us were not allowing parents to come in to our settings. And that was a big challenge because let's face this, wherever you are around the world, having a queue of parents waiting outside can sometimes be challenging. So one of the products we were alerted to is a product called Doorbell. And I won't do it anywhere near justice, but I'm going to ask Khayam to explain this in more detail. But essentially, what Doorbell allows our parents to do is to notify us when they're on the way to collect their child. And what that allows us to do is to make sure that their child is ready when that parent comes to collect them. So I'm not going to do it enough justice. I'm going to let Khayam explain a little bit more, and we'll go into his story. So Khayam, thank you so much for joining me. Do you want to tell us, if you don't mind, we'll start by covering off your background in the childcare industry. So tell us a bit about your background in the industry itself.
Well, to be honest, I kind of fell into the childcare industry. My sort of core background is in sort of technology and sort of working on that sort of side of things. And then a couple of friends of mine one day sort of said, oh, we're going off to start a nursery. And then about sort of 6 months later, they sort of said, well, do you want to join us as a sort of silent investor partner, etc. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And sort of 6 months, 9 months into the sort of nursery opening, it became very apparent that actually, that wasn't really going to work out, and they weren't really very suited to it. So I effectively had to take over the running of the nursery at very short notice and sort of become the Ofsted sort of registered person. So I sort of learned very quickly, had to learn very quickly how the childcare industry worked. I got thrown into it, which is probably the best way to start in an industry. Yes. And then I got going with that, and that was at first that was a small nursery in London, and that really was quite a difficult setting. So then I ended up buying something much bigger, which was based in Kettering, and that sort of economy of scale and everything worked so much better. And that was probably some sort of coming up for about 10 years ago now. Okay. And so I've sort of slowly been learning about the industry and so on. And I work much more on the sort of the operational side, the finance side. And I have very lucky to have a fantastic manager. She's a complete sort of educationist, very good at, the actual sort of learning side. So I do more the sort of running the company, getting the operations right, getting the finance right, getting the marketing right, and those side of things.
Excellent. So now I know you have other products and services. We're not going to go into those today because and we'll hopefully do another session around this later on, because I think, again, equally your other products that you have are extremely valuable and we can talk about those on another day. But the one big one I wanted to focus in on today is around Doorbell. So can you just tell us a little bit about the product and why the product came about?
Yeah, so I liaise and talk to my manager every day, and whenever something comes up where I can see that there is something that's putting a pressure on her in terms of running the nursery. And I think running nurseries is very difficult, actually. I mean, it's a big sort of operational sort of problem. You've got all the children who've got a mind of their own. You've got all the parents who've got a mind of their own. You've got all the staff, and trying to keep all of those parties happy and organized in a way, and keeping it fun and sort of, it is a real sort of challenge. So when I see those challenges, I then talk to her about how we can actually make it better. And she's a very good person to actually sort of bounce these ideas and implement these ideas against, because she's a sort of, she's neither a technophobe, neither is she a sort of, complete sort of geek and loves technology. Okay. So whatever's built has got to work and has got to work for function. So the problem she was having is that, as you say, we're trying to keep the parents outside the nursery. And we have our nursery in particular, there's no line of sight from the office to actually who's ringing the door. So you actually have to go to the door. So something as simple as people would ring the doorbell, you'd go to the door, would open the door, we'd say, oh, it's you. And then you have to do something that's very socially awkward, which is close the door in their face, which really doesn't feel nice at all. And then go to the room and say, oh, or message room somehow and say, Amy's mum's here, can you prepare Amy? And then, then you've got all the challenges of, well, maybe Amy doesn't want to go home just now,
Yes.
And there's all the other parents, and Toby's parent is behind Amy's parent, and Toby's ready to go, but you haven't greeted them yet, and so on and so forth. So it was ending up with a lot of hassle and stress, everyone moving around. Everyone was quite stressed anyway with the whole sort of pandemic and all the other side of it. So it seemed like there was an opportunity to create something that was very simple, and affordable and accessible to people to go out there and use it. Obviously, if you have a very small setting, it may not be the product for you. And we kind of put it out there, and we sort of said, it's there. We promoted it. I think it appeared in a lot of Facebook groups, and people started to use it. And it was pretty much, we're there to support. But for most people, it all ended up being quite self-service, with everyone sort of signing up, getting themselves up and running. So not requiring any training or sort of anything like that. So so we just sat back and sort of waited to see who would sign up and use it. So how did it solve that problem of people turning up at the door? So the way it works is that the parent has on their mobile phone the app. When they are close to the nursery, they press the button, say, "Look, I'm here." We get alerted inside on the iPads, and we know who's there. And we go and prepare the child, and effectively we then press a button to say, we're bringing Amy out now, please come to the door. Okay. It's got a few things in it that are very sort of make a big difference. And this is how all the software that, help build for the nurseries we do, is we try it out in my own nursery. And there are very small little enhancements that make all the difference in the world. So one of the enhancements is that, you can only press it when you're near the nursery. So, because you've always got one parent sort of thinks, well, I'll make sure that, Amy's ready and she's at the front of the door, and I'm still in the supermarket buying some things for tonight's dinner, but hey ho, can't hurt to get them alerted half an hour beforehand. I understand. So you can't do that. So you've actually got to be within a certain meters of the nursery, which every nursery can prescribe, and in order to actually be able to press the bell. So no one can jump the queue or game it in any way. So that was a big change. And then the other big change is then allowing to break the various views so that each room can monitor just the children in that room. So instead of getting all the noise, you're sitting in, I don't know, the preschool room, and, every time a baby is there to be picked up, it starts bing-bonging at you. That's not good and distracting. So we broke it up so you can have it by rooms. You can group them together by entrances. You can pretty much do anything you want in a sort of pyramid of rings that you can monitor. Excellent.
And guys, we've been using this particular app in our facility. And my plan, first of all, we're referring to nurseries here, but this can pretty much be used by any childcare business, any size, wherever you are around the world. It doesn't make a difference because it's based on, correct me if I'm wrong, Khayam, it's based on just geographic targeting. So it doesn't matter. This is not something that can only be used in the UK. It can be used anywhere. And a big point here as well is that for me, this is not just something that's relevant during, COVID or pandemic, anything like that. It's actually something that we intend to use for the long term, because I still think it's quite useful that parents can notify you and let you know that they're on the way, because it just provides a better quality service for that parent. Because let's face it, sometimes, as Khayam's just pointed out, some children don't want to go home. But if we're in a position to at least start to get that child ready and we've got the information to hand, it prepares that child so when the parent does arrive, the handover process is much simpler. But also as well, it just makes a better experience, I think, overall for the parents. Right now, in our setting, we are starting to trial parents coming back in, but we're limiting the numbers of parents coming back in, so 2 per room. So take the product here. We can do the same principle. Parent can let us know when they come into the preschool room. They can tell us when they're on their way, and we can monitor and keep an eye on exactly how many parents in the room. And the other thing we didn't mention there as well, Khayam, is that once we're ready for that parent, we can actually send them a notification to let them know that we're on our way, or they can now come into the building, which is another great feature, I think. So this is what I love about this is not only the fact that it's solved a huge problem during COVID. I honestly feel that this is a product that can be used in the long term to overall enhance the experience for your parents too. So anything else we want to add around the product, Khayam, or how other people have used it or experiences?
Yeah, so I think, as you say, again, very little things, but the fact that you can actually send those messages saying things like, come to the door or whatever, just by pressing a button, and the saving that makes over the actual writing out those messages. I mean, one of the people that signed up actually wanted to come along for a demo, and I gave her a demo. And what she was doing, she was basically pinned down to her desk between 7 and 10 o'clock in the morning, and the same sort of period in the sort of afternoon evening period. She was trying to do it all on WhatsApp, and trying to parent message on WhatsApp, and but I messaged before this parent, and trying to show where in the queue and so on. So the alternatives were really quite painful when you actually played them out and how they operationally worked. And I think it's interesting what you say about different businesses. So I think, as I said, we basically put it out there, and we kind of didn't limit who could sign up. So we've actually got a number of other business lines, both in other sectors, have signed up, which are very interesting sectors I never actually even knew that existed. I mean, one of the ones that signed up is actually there are doggy daycare centers, whose websites look actually a little bit remarkably similar to childcare ones in terms of the wording and stuff. But so they've been signing up. And in terms of geography, we've had nurseries in Ireland sign up. We've had nurseries in Dubai sign up. So actually, there has been also some people worldwide. We haven't promoted it worldwide, so that's sort of been on a small sort of word of mouth or whatever, where people have signed up. But it's actually been tried and tested worldwide, and tried and tested with all sorts of other industries, say with doggy daycare, to vets, to nail care bars, to all sorts of other sectors have actually just signed up and started using it.
Excellent. I guess, honestly, from price point of view, let's just to be clear here, Khayam, what's the price point per facility, just so everyone's got an idea of how affordable this product is?
So for a whole location, and again, a lot of the time we used to get sort of questions to say, oh, is that per room? Is that per entrance? Is that per thing? For the whole location, it's less than £5 a month. So it's £4.95 a month plus VAT.
Exactly.
And it's a very, it's not like, I know there are other sort of suppliers sometimes that sort of say, oh, well, this is a 7-year contract and you're going to be with us forever. This is per month. If it works for you, great. We're so happy that, it actually makes your life easier. And if, you find, that it doesn't work for you, you can just go in and cancel any time. no questions asked. You do it all electronically, and it's done.
Excellent.
So it's all the software is there really to make people's lives better, and that's what it's all about. It's not about anything else really.
And that's the thing, guys. Like, the reason why I obviously brought Khayam on here, this isn't a sales pitch. This is about for us to show you guys that, this is a product that has been created by a childcare business owner themselves, because they identified a problem they had and they wanted to find a solution. And B, for us, this is a product that we use in our childcare business. And similar, we've been open 10 years now this month. So very similar to Khayam and his childcare business. So for us, we know how this last 18 months has affected the smooth running of a childcare facility, wherever you are. So I think, as I said, this isn't just a great product right now, particularly if you're still having parents collect at the door. I think in general, this is a product that for, £5 a month, $7 a month, it's negligible in the cost side, but actually that $7 or £5 can have a huge impact on that parent experience every single day. So it's something that, as I said, I think you guys should look at it, take a look at the website. Let's just remind everyone, Khayam, what's the web address that they want to go to take a look at this?
So the web address is www.qbell.com.
Perfect. So guys,
q-bell.com.
q-bell.com, and I'll post the link as well down below to make sure everyone can get access to that. But guys, look, as I said, very, very affordable product. It has a huge impact. Go and check out some of the testimonials as well from other businesses that can use in this. We're using this, and hence why I want to bring Khayam on to talk about this in more detail, because I promise you, just that bit of positive feedback from your first few parents using the app, it will transform that whole experience to them. Think about how long parents wait to collect their child at the end of each day. And just if you have that facility to be able to know every single time who's waiting outside, and to have those messages pre-written, that you can just select the exact message you want to send, it will have a huge impact on that overall experience and touch points for that parent too. So anything else we wanted to add before we wrap up to let people know about this, or any other exciting things that are coming out?
We have actually also added some extra features to QBell recently, so you can sort of also run questionnaires if you want to ask people things. That's probably more for some other industries, but if you wanted to have as a general sort of public doorbell where people didn't have to have been pre-prescribed, we've sort of added that. So that's what we've kind of done recently on QBell. But again, we haven't really promoted that yet. But that is also being used by other sort of industries as well.
Excellent. So that's perfect, guys. So for like $7 a month, make sure you go and check this out. Just test it for a month and you'll see the impact it has on you. So Khayam, I'm very grateful for you joining me today. Now, I know you've got some other great products such as Funding Loop, and I'd love to get you back on another time. But guys, if you've got any questions, as always, drop them in down below. Let us know what the comments are. Let us know in the comments, and both Khayam and myself will come back to you. So Khayam, thank you for giving up your time today. I appreciate you're busy with the businesses and of course the childcare facility as well. And I look forward to catching up with you very soon to talk about the other product, which is obviously your Funding Loop product as well.
Thank you very much for having me today, Nick.
Thanks, Khayam. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers.
We're on a mission to help business owners just like you to get more customers into their businesses and to help you stand out from your competition. If you'd like to find out more about the ways we can help your business, check out our website at childcarebusinessgrowth.com.